So, 1, 2, 3, loud and clear. Welcome to the round 12 of European Race Organization's Season 6 in F1 division. That was actually a very quick welcoming because I've got some issues with the stream starting. But anyways, right before the Mexican Grand Prix in Real F1, well, you can set the predictions in the chat. We are having our own race here in the first division of Ero. In the Hungarian, which is a tight but classic and memorable track in Formula 1. Especially because of that last year's victory achieved by... this year's victory, sorry, achieved by Esteban Ocon in Real F1. Actually, the reason he won was Fernando Alonso making great defensive art against Lewis Hamilton, who was on the fresh and medium tires. Well, welcome along to the round 12 of title battle between Guil and Drake Dempsey. Here's the owner of the league, Wojciech, as always. And I will stay with you for around hour and 15 to 20 minutes for this Hungarian Grand Prix. There might be no conference, but all we know is that the entire race is going to be under wet conditions, so it spices the things up. Well, what was the most recent Grand Prix with rain on the track? I cannot remember here in Ero F1. But what we know, sorry, it was Austria by the way, and Portugal. And what we know is that the battle between Guilherme Daronia and Drake Dempsey is very close. We've also got a couple new drivers here in Ero F1. A couple of them are reserves from lower divisions. Couple of them are actually new to the league. And the new is Robin Vesseling here in Mercedes, who has taken the seat after Hasan Akçat dropping to F2, unfortunately. Well, he is going no assist, but the pace is just not yet for the F1 ready, to be honest, as he said. That he's ready to take the challenge in F2, and he's actually going to do decent points, like yesterday in Hungary. Robin Vesseling is already finishing his lap time, and he's doing 15.4 here as his first qualifying lap, giving him 3rd place. Dani Hernandez makes 4th place. There is a Red Bull right behind, and it's Wagner starting his lap. But speaking about the reserves from lower divisions, well, you know, Liam Cross or David Helvo has been promoted from Ero F2, permanent move. But also we've got Ferry Wagner and the new reserve of Ben Riedel, who is racing today in Alfa Romeo. And the second one, well, we of course you obviously know Kalle Pulkkinen, but about the reserve from F4 division, driver is going no line and he's going surprisingly well. Maybe not like Cohn's Diogo Moraes in F3, but definitely like here in F4, he's doing pretty well, leading the championship by around 30 points. It's a very competitive pace, definitely worth of F2, but what about F1, we don't know. Guilherme sets the fast up the race. Meanwhile, we're speaking about Gareth Rogers. The Welshman is now racing in F1 as a Ferrari, as a reserve, here in F1 division for the first time ever. Well, I would be racing probably if there was Luke Jobson signing, but he isn't, which means I'm doing this commentary by myself today. Still, who said it's not gonna be fun? Especially when we have full wet weather conditions. Well, I don't know if full wet or intertight, but definitely rain is gonna come up here. Speaking about predictions for the race, not only by the weather, but definitely, let's discuss who is going to win this race. Because I'm going to launch a poll right now on the YouTube chat. If there is a silence for a couple of seconds, you know. Also, there's a Red Bull going up the track, but it's Wagner letting everyone by slowly after himself making a hot lap. And you can see he's on the 2nd place with impressive 14.9. How about Drake Dempsey? He's only got 2nd to a front row. As you can see, it's 15.9. But I believe he might have as well wet setup. How are the tires for the drivers? Because if there is rain for the whole race, there's no point for Drake to put on medium tires. He's the only one to do so. Jack Jesser has already retired from the session and will not set any more laps. Joshua Evans alongside him at the moment, but I think he will improve his lap time as well. As we are going now with Stan van der Los from AlphaTauri, who's cutting the grass, but he kept it running and he's still going with this lap. Well, speaking about the championship, I have given this a short intro at the very beginning, but it was very short due to PC1 stream nearly colliding with our stream. But the gap between Kilometer and Drake Dempsey is now 3 points. Well, we haven't got any close title battles since last year in Season 3. So, yeah. Speaking about these last title fights, Season 4 was Max dominating the entire season by 9 victories in a row, and Season 5 was Julian. There was a bit of a fight because we got 12 different race winners last season, but it was still Julian Berenson coming out on top with around 40 points of advantage, 37 to be exact. But right now, it's mainly between Guillaume Deroni and Drake Dempsey. The gap is 3 points, 211 versus 208. Then we've got Aurelien Lepenru, 114. Then we've got Tobia Grimaldi, 82. Chibuga Chukuma, 77. And Botamarco, 48. That's the top 6. Paulo Hausmann is not racing today, but he's got 48 points. Sitting him, 42 points, sitting him at P7. Jack Jessel is 8th after, even with 4 did not starts. He's getting 35 points and 8th place in the standings. Right behind him, Mikael Korhonen with 29 and Julian Berenson 28. That's the F1 standings. In Ero F1, of course. Because we know. In Ero F1, it's Max Verstappen who leads ahead of Lewis Hamilton. So at the moment, we're following Gareth Rogers having his debut in Ero F1. But Drake Dempsey is also doing his hot lap. Guillaume Merunia is in Sector 1, I believe. But I don't know which one to be exact. Let's see, he's now going with the fastest sector on new soft tires. 1.5 tenths up, but we're following Drake Dempsey. He must get that front row at least, as he's 7 tenths up comparing to his previous lap. As you can see, there is a major difference between medium tires and soft tires. And actually, putting medium tires on makes no sense if you have rain for the entire race. Drake Dempsey crosses the line and gets 14.7, making himself on provisional pole right now. Tommy Grimaldi is 7,000 of a second quicker than Guillaume Merunia, who is now in Sector 3, 3 tenths up, which means he is now destroying Drake's lap time at the moment, and he's now also crossing. And let's see, it's 14.4. What a lap! Astonishing one made by the Aston Martin driver. We've got yellow flag sector 1 and 2, and that is a Mercedes of Drake Dempsey, letting people by right before one of the most difficult corners, not only on this track, but I think an entire calendar, turn 5, which can easily make you spin. We'll be switching to Kalle Pulkkinen at the moment, I think. No, he's just finished his lap time and jumped into 6th place. A teammate for Guillaume Merunia is now Mikael Korhonen, as Maxime Rodriguez has retired due to his connection issues for remainder of the season, but he is going to come back for the Season 7. So we hope for some action, including him in the future, from the double Ero F1 champion. The only double Ero F1 champion, by the way. Continuing, because I think I have finished all of the things I needed to do. 6.5 minutes to go in this qualifying session. We are still following Mikael Korhonen as he is now going to cross the line with his new lap time. Let's see if he can improve his 1:15.4 to 1. He's definitely going to improve. He jumped Danny Hernandez and Robin Wieseling. Into 9th place he goes. On the outlap, we've got Chibuika Chukuma, aka Loki Chips. In McLaren, David Helver has invited his lap. How about Ferry Wagner? He's going through the lap, I think. Yep, he's using that ERS. This is definitely a sign he's making his hot lap at the moment. As he's now in the sector 3, he's got a very promising start of this qualifying session. He was provisionally even at the front row, but how about now? He's going to the pits, he's not improving his lap time. So he might put as well new soft tires and then try once again. Who's on the way on to finishing his lap? It's Botta Marco, going to cross the line, and he jumps his teammate into 8th place. Both of the McLaren drivers going pretty well this season. Both in the top 8, which, remember, gives also the guaranteed seat for next season of Ero F1. So if you get into top 8, you are getting the seat. And it all matters which one you want. Well, you still have to sign in for that one. But you can skip the time trials and the trial race. Anyways, speaking about the time trials and trial race, I just reminded that we've got season 7 signups officially open, which means you can sign into Ero now to enter league racing. You've got your chance. And we are welcome to see you in the competition. Which division? We don't know it yet. Well, I see already people saying supporting Drake Dempsey. I wonder where is all of the Guirs fans. Also, Josh has got his self disconnected, and I think we'll be supposed to invite him pretty quickly. As nearly everyone is going to the pits, I think... Okay, Chibuika is making his lap. But I think it is a time when we do a very quick action of inviting Josh to the lobby. So you will see this technical issue screen. To really try to take me seconds. So... Well, we're gonna make it as said... Oh no. Okay. This is getting interesting. My game is stuck. As you can see, it's genuinely stuck. No, you cannot see that, but it's stuck on invite players option. Well, this is getting interesting. So most likely, I prefer turning myself in terms of sound off. Okay, let's say we love the share play. Sorry, the remote play. Because once I turned off from that remote play, I actually got back to the possibility of invitation, of giving an invitation to Josh. But now he says that the session no longer exists. So not only will be supposed to, I was supposed to actually make my game stuck, but also we might do as well a relobby. So this is getting beyond interesting. We love you, Codemasters. Am I stuck again? It's half a minute to go in qualifying, and we must follow Wagner for whatever reason, even although everyone is on the track. Well, I'm just gonna reset my Sherpa again. You know? So, if you're wondering about this silence for a couple of minutes, we will be restarting the lobby because of whatever it's happening with the with it. We must be very quick though. And I know this joint season 6 of Ero, well, it's still correct because you could still sign up for season 6, but it would be better for the next season. So, yep. As you can see in the lobby, everyone is leaving, so I'm just making the visible session is now going to be restarted. We will be coming back around 6 PM UK. So we will see you in a couple of minutes. Can we say how much we love this game? Which actually made us to delay this race by around 10 minutes. And we have finally gone. We have finally started. With again, very wet conditions, but we all made it thanks to Maciek, who has actually saved us in terms of this lobby. Because this game is just perfect. We still have like 55 minutes to race, and we will make it even with 3 safety cars. So we just hope for no Valtteri Bottas for whatever has Valtteri Bottas done in Hungary, but we are back with racing today. We love this game, to be honest. Also, as we are starting the session yet again under very wet conditions, as you can see, everyone has taken wet tires. Nobody is even hoping for the intermediates on this formation lap or any close time. Also, Mikulitsi, as he said, he might have tire puncture bag. No, there is nothing, never mind. It was just a false alarm. But, well, this lobby hasn't gone well today. With Josh getting yeeted, me also being stuck, Liam yeeted. So we had to restart the lobby with this many people having issues. Now we have no issues. Which makes us race, except Daniel Hernandez has just been disqualified for the formation lap for whatever reason. Let me just adjust the sound settings. Should be a bit better now. How about the tires? As I said, it's full wet conditions. Everyone's getting full wet tires. Because as you can see, there is literally loads of standing water on the track. Predicted pit stop strategy is wet to wet. But remember, we are getting dry weather at the very end of the race, and in the meantime, which means we might see 2-stop race today. We're going from wets to inters to soft or mediums. And we hope for no safety car. Everyone hopes for no safety car, and I hope this will not happen. With the Bermelander, you don't have to go on track today, I hope. As we got drivers going to the line. 2 championship contenders are on front row for I will not count which time. This time it's Zaronia ahead of Drake Dempsey. Can he stay on the lead of this Grand Prix? We actually made it to the race, and that's a very good sign. But can we finish that within 50 minutes? Well, I hope so. As we are now starting the Hungarian Grand Prix, we've got 2, 3, 4 and 5 red lights, and it's going to be lights out, and away we go. We are stuck for a second. We should go in a moment. Yes, we go. And it's lights out, and away we go again. As it could actually taking the lead of the race way ahead of Drake Dempsey. Down the inside into turn 1, and he should take that one. There's a 4 wide at the middle of the pack. Aurelian Lepenroux tries to go to the 2nd place ahead of Drake Dempsey, but he stays on the 3rd. And it actually stays where it is. Everyone cares about not getting any safety car out on. Even though there is 3 wide, one of the Ferraris pushing one of the McLarens out wide. There's literally loads of 3 wides that will follow that one at the back of the field. As the top 2 is going peacefully in their places, even most likely everyone's going safely at the moment. Everyone just cares about finishing the race without any problems after, well, amount of delays we got. Jack just overtakes Stan van der Los for the 14th. Also, Stan loses a place to Daniel Hernandez. Jack fights Liam in the Haas for the 13th. It's currently going clean and steady. But we'll stay with the top two. Well, I don't know what their strategies are going to be, but they're definitely going to stop for slick tires and inter tires. I even don't think the wets would even go to the line. There's nearly a free wide. Daniel Hernandez gets a little bit of contact with, I think it was Liam Cross. But Jack Jessel clearly goes ahead of Liam in the 13th now. Guilherme Dorina sets the fastest lap of the race. There's a heavy crash of Stan van der Los. This will call out the safety car, but it was just his whole spin and it's virtual safety car out on the track. That was a very nasty hit, but we could see it was no contact made. Traction has been unfortunately lost. We hope that next week in Spain things will go better for the Dutch driver. Now we're going peacefully, hoping for no crashes around. As we're going yet again, that was a very short visual safety car. Good Darunia stays ahead of Drake Dempsey in the top two. And as you can see, they are already over a second ahead of Aurélien Lepenroux in the third place, who is being chased down by Ferry Wagener, the champion of last season's F2 division. Wagener lost it! And he's now losing all of his front wing and loads of places. He will wait for people to safely go back on the track and is on now the last place. Drake Dempsey meanwhile takes the lead from Guilherme Dorina. And he is now first. Ferry will probably go to the pits and change his front wing and go back on the track. But it was a very heavy spin. Thankfully, no tire has come off. As of now, we have the two title contenders being swapped, and the championship situation is now being wide open again because it's Drake Dempsey who takes the lead of the championship right now. The gap is, well, if there was no pole position point, it would be 4 points, but with that pole position point, it's now 3 of them. Because remember that Guilherme Dorina has set fastest lap in the qualifying session. And how about the races fastest lap of the session? Let's see. He is still having that fastest lap with 1:37.6. But remember, there was a virtual safety car on the lap too, so it might change anytime soon. And we'll see if it will. If it has to. We are switching back to the intervals. In the lap 3 of this Hungarian Grand Prix. Third place in the championship is most likely safe to Aurélien Lepenroux because he's got loads of advantage. Just to confirm, I'm checking the F1 standings yet again. And he is 32 points clear of Tobia Grimaldi. But he's the one being most likely to be close to the two title contenders. He hasn't won a race, just like anyone apart from the top two. Because even though last season we got 12 different race winners, now we've got 2 of them. Well, obviously we know which ones. So Robin Wieselenk in his debut overtakes Botta Marco into 9th place. No, he is going to be supposed to fight back, nearly loses it, and stays in the 10th. Also, Tobia Grimaldi fights Mikael Korhonen right ahead of them. Botta and Robin for the 7th. We'll switch to that one, and it's definitely a closer. The Ferrari driver stays behind the Aston Martin. Robin is still on the gearbox, still right on the tail of Botta Marco. And that's lap 4 of this Hungarian Grand Prix. I'm also supposed to end the poll. Well, most of you have voted for Drake to win, as Josh already gets the first time penalty of this session, of this race. It's a 3-second time penalty for multiple corner cuts, and he's being chased down by Gareth Rogers, but he's also in the group of Jack Jessel, Daniel Hernandez himself, and the Ferrari driver. Also, we can see that Drake is flying under these wet conditions. He's 2.5 seconds ahead of Guil, and he's setting up another fastest lap. The gap's getting bigger and bigger. We could see though that Guil is way faster than Drake on the dry conditions, so what he needs to do now is to lose as little time as possible on these wet conditions, and then we'll see what happens on the dries. .3 is the gap now. Looks like Guil is staying around these 2.4s, but the changes are minimal. 4/10 is the gap, meanwhile, between Botta and Tobia, as the McLaren driver is looking for a move on the Ferrari. Meanwhile, the gap between Guil and Drake is now 2.7. Looks like Guil is losing a lot of time in Sector 2. It's definitely not his strong section of the track. So at the moment, when we're entering lap 6, it's Drake Dempsey leading very peacefully by 2.8 of a second, even 2.3 seconds at the moment. Guil is definitely losing loads of time. He's got a moment right now, as you can see. He was going to the inside line, even though he's using loads of overtake. He cannot regain anything. But he keeps his safe gap to Axe of 2 seconds. The Alpine driver is this, well, he's the same nation as Esteban Ocon, and we're on the same track as where Esteban Ocon won the Hungarian Grand Prix, in the same car. He was saying on Twitter that he can win, that it means a lot. Like not personally, but if Esteban won in Hungarian Grand Prix in an Alpine, then why not Axe? Then why Axe cannot do that? But he's most likely on the way to win another Formula 1.5 race, as he's nearly 3 seconds off Guil and keeping everyone behind him. Josh loses 2 places, or more likely it's Gareth Rogers actually fighting Jack Jessel on the P14, and the Ferrari driver from F4 goes ahead of the 2 Williams drivers. Gap is slowly increasing. It's now 3.3 between 2 title contenders. Looks like Guil is not the best man on the wet weather conditions, or is not on a good run of form. We remember the Austrian Grand Prix this season, where Guil was staying out on the medium tires despite the intermediate conditions, but these were for a bit too short. Because on lap 35, he was actually starting to regain loads of time to Drake, who was on the inter tires that time, and overtook the American on the last, let's say, flag sector 1. That's Josh. Spun out. He's coming back on track right now. Going back to the topic of the Austrian Grand Prix, Guil has overtaken Drake on the last corner of that race, and he's 27 laps sold, I think, 2 cold medium tires, but he still made it. So that has been one of the most dramatic final laps of the entire season, or maybe the entire Ero history. But now nothing like this is likely to happen, because the gap is 3.8. As I have seen another overtake, I think that's Liam on Ben Riddle. Another after racer, by the way. So, also, let's also talk about latest championship battle, like here in Ero F1, of course, but latest races. We've got 2 Italian Grand Prix, but the second one was Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, because like in real F1, we don't use two Italian Grand Prix. We do Italian Grand Prix in Monza and Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix in Imola. But anyways, speaking about Monza, that was another episode of the battle between Gul and Drake. There was Drake starting on the 10th place, Gul somewhere at the P4. I was actually racing there as well, so you can correct me if I'm wrong. Gul makes the fastest sector 1. Seems promising, but he's also 4 seconds behind. We're now speaking about Italy. Well, Drake has started at the middle of the pack, but he still made it to the front. There was a late safety car, but he was around the soft tires, gained a lot of positions thanks to that. He was even leading the race, but Gul has just pitted, and it meant he was on fresher tires and he could easily overtake Drake. But it wasn't over when he once done overtake, because they have decided to overtake each other. Not like decided, but they have overtaken each other 3 times on the last lap, and it was Drake Dempsey coming out as the victorious man in the Italian Grand Prix. Same as Emilia-Romagna, but there we've got full dry weather conditions both races. But there we've got a crash, and it was Emilia-Romagna crashing with Ciubiu Kęczuk from the McLaren. Jake sets another fast lap car, but Gul, he's losing a 10th. Are these conditions, by the way, getting intense right now? As you can see, a bit drier line. I must say there is a bit of a drier line. But as you can see, there is no standing water on the optimal one, but the drivers stay out of the wets. Also, well, I think as Gul is slightly regaining about after this corner. No, the gap stays. No, he regains, which means the conditions might be on the crossover. Well, it's not raining that hard at the moment. We haven't got the best before that. Jack just meanwhile pits for the inter tires. So I think this is the time for all the drivers to go all the tires with the green ring around them. We'll follow Jack for that one, as he loses time to Ferry Wagoner. If he starts to gain, then we know what happens. Drake Dempsey stays out. How about Emilia-Romagna? He stays out as well. Everyone is likely to stay out. And though Jack is not losing. And hence why Kalle Pulkin has just decided to put same as David and Helbu. And Mikael Korhonen goes in as well. We've got a couple of drivers, also Botta Marco and Robin Wieseling are fighting for the 8th. Liam Cross, Ben Riddle, all of them are pitting. Who stays out? The ones who stay out are the top 8. Same as Daniel Hernandez. How about Gareth Rogers? Yellow flag to Josh is out of the race. And calls out the full safety car. Bernie Melander is out on the track. This is... While we're getting closer and closer to Mexican Grand Prix in real F1, this is not something we would like to see. Well, definitely there will be no conference today because we all have to switch very soon, like very early, before we have to switch very quickly between the race here and the race in real F1. Do you think we'll still make it? Because there were a couple of safety cars in Ero PC1 race and they fit in an hour and 25 minutes. They've got 25 minutes to go. Might not make it. Oh god. At least everyone is unlapped, and I think Drake is now going to pit into tires. Drive-through penalty for Tobia Grimaldi for spinning under the safety car conditions. It's definitely ruining his chances to fight for even the 3rd place in the championship. Aurélien Lepenroux is now 3rd, and also pits. Everyone pits for the Inter tires on the top 4. I think Tobias Grimaldi might stay out because of the drive-through penalty. No, he does not. He pits as well. I think most of the grid is going to pit now, as Daniel Hernandez does. He is actually a winner of that safety car because he's losing way less time comparing to what he would lose in the regular SC. David Helvo retires on the session as well. I don't know what happened. He might as well. He's retired to the pit for whatever reason. As we're already on lap 11, David and both of Ataris have retired for the session now. We're waiting for Jack Jessel and Ferry Wagner to join the pack. Daniel Hernandez is on Inter tires, as you can see, and he's still on the penultimate place, so maybe even last. No, he is not. I think we're getting one more lap under the safety car conditions. And we'll go racing again. We've got 33 minutes to go in this Mexican Grand Prix, and if there is any news in the chat, you can tell them in the chat about any delays, if there is any. Might as well add like 2 minutes for the formation lap, but this will be very on time. I personally might miss the start because I need to turn things off. Drake Dempsey, well, all of his gap has disappeared now. Now he's on Inter tires, which are faster. And there's just wet conditions. There's little to no standing water at the moment. And it's going to dry up pretty soon, I hope. Which will make us go on the medium tires, and then we'll be faster, way faster, compared to what we can make on the mediums. Sorry, Inters. So, most likely the safety car is going in this lap. And 5 second penalty for Jack Jessel for collision with Daniel Hernandez. The safety car is in this lap, which means we are restarting the Grand Prix of Hungary. Half an hour to the Mexican Grand Prix. I think we'll just make it. Half an hour to go. 23 laps to go. 22 laps to go. Yep, we might make it. But Drake needs to restart very quickly. He does. And we're racing again here in Hungary. We just hope for no more safety crashes right now. Axel squeezes down Kalle Pulkin in the part of the third place. Will he make the move, the Alfa Romeo driver? No, he does not. Aurelian will stay ahead. There might be a little bit of contact. There is not. And Aurelien Lepenroux clearly takes the third place. How about Chibuika Chukfuma? He goes on 4th ahead of Kalle. As we are going here in the Hungarian Grand Prix with the safety car restart, that was pretty clean. Nobody has crashed, but Drake Dempsey has gone away by over a second from Guil. So currently it's a very calm restart of this Hungarian Grand Prix. The gap meanwhile between Drake and Guillaume is 2 seconds. So right now we've got, well, I said that for the third time. That's pretty good thing to happen, that there is no problems. The lap time should be in around 1:26 or 7, I think. No, 29. 27. Okay, never mind. Drake Dempsey has set a new fastest lap of this Grand Prix. Topic Grimaldi Śmigowski's driver penalty. There's still dry conditions to come, and we will see if the Italian driver can make this up. 28 minutes to the Mexican Grand Prix and 21 laps to go. Well, if it comes to the race pace on dry conditions, it should be 1:17, 1:18, but the times are getting faster, especially because of that safety car restart. But we'll see if Drake can make even better laps, not just by 2/10, but around 5/10. Is the track going to dry up pretty soon? So the last two places we've got Ferraris, and we're entering lap 15 of the race. After the next turn, the right-hander, we've got Aston Martin Mikulici being out. Is that another safety car being out? It isn't likely to happen at the moment, but it can become anytime soon. It most likely isn't going on. Yep. There is no safety car. We have been saved. Marco Botta also pits, and this might be a wing change because the tire conditions haven't been changed yet. So the gap between Drake and Guil is now 2.9, nearly. You can see how much time is the Mercedes driver gaining each lap. So the only thing that can save Guil is, when it comes to dry conditions, is undercut. Everyone is most likely to continue safely. .3 seconds is now the gap, and we are on lap 16. We're staying at a gap of 2.6 at the moment between Guil and Aurélien Lepenroux. As you can see, there is 4 or 5 drivers going lonely. There is also alone. Also, Liam has been overtaken by Daniel Hernandez for the 9th. But considering we've got 4 drivers rather going on their own, and these are Drake, these are Guil, Tobia, and Marco Botta. The rest is relatively going in that colorful snake from the 3rd to 12th place. Lap 17 is on now. As Drake sets up another fastest lap of this Grand Prix. Well, we're here under the inter conditions. Hoping that we'll make it on time for the Hungarian Grand Prix, for the Mexican Grand Prix, Mexico Grand Prix actually. Because the interesting thing about the Grand Prix in Mexico, is that this is not a Mexican Grand Prix, but a Mexico Grand Prix. It's a Grand Prix named after a city rather than the country. I do not know the reason, I'll be honest with you. But this is what I came up to. What I came into. How many races has just finished, by the way, this season? This season he has finished 4 of the 12 rounds. Yet, he's still P12 in the championship. He can jump into top 10 if he's a bit lucky. Lap 18 is on now. Well, to be honest, without Josh crashing, it would way easily made it. Let's, if nothing is going on there, let's check out the race director. For example, Loki, to see, yep, a driver loses 40 seconds per lap during the safety car. We're actually rushing to the end of this Grand Prix. And is the track getting dry? No, it's not. The rain is still there. We cannot even speak about getting dry within a couple of coming minutes. Also, Ben Riddle gets 3-second penalty, but he's doing a pretty impressive run. Chuck just followed him, apparently. But speaking about Ben Riddle, he's doing a pretty impressive start to this to his ERL career, 6th place, and being just 0.7 of a second behind P5. He's following that train right now. That is peacefully led by Axe. He might be on charge of getting that 5th on the later stage of the race. He's got similar amount of ERS compared to Kalle Pulkkinen. Maybe a little bit less. Still got a lot. Everyone is now slowly, slightly faster going through each sector. But can Drake Dempsey set up another fastest lap of this Grand Prix? We'll see. He's now getting into the 2 last corners. And now we'll see. It's 22-23. It might be similar lap. He's not set a fastest lap of the session. He's 3/10 down. By the way, I see the clouds getting a little bit lighter this lap. So, well, I think it may come to the dry conditions around lap 26 or 7. Okay, he's doing 10.5 right now. Currently, he is leading the championship. He is having that fastest lap of the race. Girl gets 19 points. Drake gets 26 of them. Okay, because I have small penalties anyway. Jack has 11. Ben Riddle has 3. But even fastest laps. Drake has 26 points. Guillermo has 19 points. The gap between them in this race is 7 points. Now Drake takes the lead of this championship by 4 points. As it stands. And we're having a new championship leader in Spanish Grand Prix. %30% finish rate from the judge. Yep, that's not the greatest result. But if he finishes, he scores points, so that's a good sign for him. So 3.9, now it's going to be 4 seconds of a gap between Guillermo Daronia and Drake Dempsey. This is slightly getting bigger and bigger. Also, the gap between Guil and Aurel Lependru is also getting bigger. Very slightly, but it still happens. We're entering the sector 3 with Drake Dempsey at the moment, and let's see his lap time. He's got 82 thousandths of a second off. Also, is it just me, or the rain keeps getting a little bit lighter? Well, I don't know. But it's 22 thousandths of a second off his fastest lap, so he's finding that pace. He's very consistent. As you can see, he isn't getting any laps slower or faster than half a second compared to his fastest lap. He isn't having loads of gap between his lap times. It's within half a second. Especially in these conditions. Now he's 93 thousandths of a second down. Mercedes driver. But we'll go back to the battle for the 4th place because it's Kalle Pulkkinen getting a bit closer to Chibuka Jakfuma on the 4th. Looking for that 12 points, the F2 title contender. It's also getting strong results in Ero F1. The gap is now 6 tenths of a second. Now it's 7. It's going back to 5 tenths. So if Kalle can get a little bit more of ERS, if he can use that a bit, especially when Chibuka has got 30% less, he might look for the move on the 4th place. And is he going to do so? He's got full battery, apparently. So he can use it all on the straight. He is going to get a little bit closer. It's 4 tenths. Yep, it's not enough to make a move. But still enough to stay right behind and getting away from Robin Wieselang on the 6. Nearly lost it into turn 1 on the exit. As Jack just gets another 3-second time penalty, which makes it in total 9 seconds of time penalties. Kicking him out of the points at the moment. And bringing that 1 point to Ferry Wagner, who has crashed out on lap 2 of this Grand Prix. And he has been as he has lost all of his front wing there, the Red Bull driver. 1 point for us between Wagoner and Liam, by the way, but we're following the battle for the fourth. This was likely cruising around the track at the moment. Liam Cross meanwhile makes a move on Daniel Hernandez and will try to overtake Jack Jesel as well, who's going to the pit and will serve his 5-time penalty. Liam has made a move on the 8th place at the moment. And we'll see if Jack Jesel is going on the dry tires, by the way. The guy has overtaken him. How about tire choice? It's softs. I mean, Jack, this isn't dry enough for the soft tires at all. As you can see, for example, bottom are leaving a lot of spray made by water. But we will stay currently with the battle for the fourth. As Chibuka Jakuma fights Kalipulkin and still... Well, again, I'll say that. They're more likely to travel on the 4th and 5th, but they are relatively close to each other. And if DRS gets enabled one of the laps, it's definitely getting more interesting. Meanwhile, Robin Visser gets his first time penalty of this session. Wagoner also makes a move on Daniel Hernandez and getting that in place. They're still side by side as both of them go to the pits. Well, how much is losing Jack Jesel to... Well, the RS has been enabled. He might start caning on now as Robin Vincent guns on the medium tires. How about Ben Riddle? He is staying out on the inters. Wagoner changes the softs. Karen Flores and Topic Maldi both into the pits. And this is getting interesting because the two title contenders are still out on the inters. This is the question if they have gone one lap too early. Robinson mediums. How about Ben? He is on mediums again. Perry is on softs. And Daniel Hernandez has pitted for the soft tires as well. Jack Jesel. Well, we might have said that was not the greatest decision. But he has made it running into 11th place. Back where he was before the safety car. Well, he was ahead of Joker, aka Daniel Hernandez. But it's only one play is lost. It's a top 5. Well, they definitely have to pit, and Drake Dempsey does so. And Guillaume Dornia as well. I think Arwen Lepenru will go to his pit crew as well. Because, well, these tire choices are getting interesting. Well, he's pitting as well, everyone is pitting. So whoever stayed out on interest for one more lap, because he was unlucky to get the DRS enabled message after crossing the area where he could pit, is now going to the pits. And how many positions can Robin Wiesel regain from that? As Gary Frothers have been disconnected from the session, unfortunately. We hope he will get back in soon. Can Robin Wiesel, by the way, overtake both of the drivers fighting for the fourth? He does. That was a great undercut. And that's a bit of a lucky moment, but still, he made the 4th place runner. He hit that 3-second lap penalty, but he is 1.5 ahead. Chibukem on softs can as well. Yellow flags and 6-1. That's Daniel Hernandez spinning out, coming back on track, fortunately, but with broken front wing, it will mean he has to pit yet again, and I don't know what happened there. All I know is that he spun and lost places. As Toby Grimaldi gets 3-second time penalty. As you can see, there is a major difference in terms of pace right now. They are going very quickly. We have been used to drivers going kind of slowly. in previous lap, but now when the rain actually stopped, you can see the pace that wasn't able to be there when we had inter tires. Robin puts up another fast stop of the race, even though right behind you there is Wojciech, and he will make a move for the fourth on the soft tires. I think they will start dying on the last laps, but at the moment he is faster on the softs. He's making the move done. Toby Grimaldi sets up fastest lap of the race and he will overtake his disconnected teammate right now. Botta Marco improves his lap time, so as you can see, these are not the best conditions yet. There's still a little bit of a gap in terms of pace, which, for example, Daniel Nadas can push for. Guillermo sets up a fastest lap of the race, and as you can see, he is getting closer. The gap is now 1.7. This is getting exciting right now. He might be slightly regaining at the moment. Yellow flag sector 1, but it's just Daniel Nadas coming back on track. I don't think anything happened there. But as of now, it's Guillermo regaining because he's on soft tires. Drake has decided to stay out on medium, so the tire choices are hitting us once again between the two title contenders. Last time in Austria it was between mediums of Guil and inters of Drake. Now it's softs for Guil and mediums for Drake. As we are on lap 28 of this Hungarian Grand Prix. Meanwhile, Kalepukin tries to make a move on Robin Visselang as Robin slightly squeezes down to the outside line into turn 3, but he makes the move. There was a contact between these two, topping while their tires in the pit, but it would be Robin staying out ahead. There was a little bit of contact. It might be a little bit of an incident report. I think worthy may be a warning. Daniel Hernandez gets 3-second time penalty. For sure he is going to be in the 12th place because Marpix came back, so never mind. Lap 28 and we're entering lap 29. Daniel Hernandez will, yes, he retires to the session, so he might as well damage his front wing yet again. Or being unable to set his fastest lap. As we fall on to the top 2. Guillermo Daronia has set up another fastest lap of this Grand Prix. Yellow flag sector 1, but it's just Alpine driver retiring. As Kalepukin now clearly overtakes Robin Visselang for the 6th. Well, I think that currently Robin will still lose for more like 3 or 4 more laps. But at the end, it's going to be his time, even though it's going to be very hard to overtake. Let's see the tire age, even though everyone has spitted in similar lap. Ben Riddle, Drake Dempsey, and Guillermo Daronia. Drake Dempsey, Robin Visselang, and Ben Riddle. These are on the medium tires. The rest stays on softs, hoping for the fastest lap at the beginning and not getting a puncture on the last lap because these tires die off pretty quickly and will just survive 10 laps. Which may be just in. Green is on the way to overtake Drake Dempsey into lap 30 of this Hungarian Grand Prix. Will he make that one? That is the question. As Drake uses a little bit of his ERS, but I think Guil might get ahead. Into turn 1, he goes down the inside and will take the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Yes, he can. And he is now on the front of the pack, P1. Will Drake fight back? Yes, he will. He was just looking for a little bit of space, but it wasn't enough to make a pass. As they are going side by side at their touch, but it wasn't thankfully a major contact. It was just a minor one. But it looks like Guil's tires are dying, and he also has got no ERS. They are nearly going side by side. As you can see, they are literally fighting for the win. And also, the lead of the championship now. It was a stiff gap for Guil, but after Monza's last lap battle and Imola's retiring, now he's only 3 points ahead of the American. And is it the period where the sorts are starting to get slow? Are they going to get slow? Well, I don't know. As Śmigowski gets 3-second time penalty, this promotes at the moment Kalle Pulkkinen in the 4th place, but Ken will stay on the lead of this race. As we go once again into turn 1, and Drake Dempsey going around the outside, would stay on the inside. And they made it stick in the 1-2, but Drake will try to go down the inside. Yet again, there's a contact. Yet again, they managed to keep going. Well, this is genuinely boiling at the moment. Will stay in front into turn 5. He's still ahead, but he's got no ERS at all. Drake's got 35%. He's got a little bit to play with, but also not too much. As Robin Visser gets another 3-second time penalty. Good news that every single driver behind him, except apart from Liam, has got a penalty as well. So he might be losing only 1 place. Is Drake Dempsey going to make a move on Guillermo Daronia at the moment on the lap 32? Well, Axel hopes for more battling so he can close up. Definitely not taking the victory, but Guil goes down the inside to break the 2. Will he go around the outside into turn 1? No, Drake will try go down the outside yet again. He tries to make a switchback. Will he make it successfully? Yes, he did, and he retakes the lead of this Hungarian Grand Prix. And Guil will not fight back this one. He is now staying behind. As it's now Guil having the DRS, but will he stay within 1 second of a gap to have that DRS and to still have that little bit of lower downforce to make it to the the higher top speed and to be overtaking Drake? No, it's not possible. Drake is getting away from Guillermo Daronia, and it's now 7 tenths. 6 tenths, well, approximately it's around the same. Liam Cross gets 3-second time penalty on the meantime. The gap is 7 tenths. I don't think we will make a move yet again. Come on. This is getting interesting, but also it's 8 tenths. So Guil must use all of his power in order to get close and yet still be in the DRS for the next lap. But I feel like he has regained something. But nothing on the long term. He's yet again 7 tenths behind. Well, let's not end this race yet. But he's getting very, very close. As Kalle Pulkkinen overtakes Śmigowski not only by the penalties and also on track. He's going to physically finish in the 4th place at the moment. Unless, as you can see, Robin Wieselenk looks for the move on Ferry Wagenaar. He's got very little bit more of ERS. As you can see, Wagenaar has got 3% and Robin's got 9. This is definitely the time for the for the medium tires. So it's now Guil 1.4. We can say at the moment the race is decided, and Drake Dempsey is on the great way to take the lead of the championship. It's still penultimate lap. He's got a safe gap. He was building on on the inter tires and on the wet tires. I wonder about the tire wears though from all the soft runners. Because, well, this is the period where definitely softs are getting much more worn comparing to the mediums. And mediums are definitely going to live right now. While softs are on the great way to being worn. Or actually they are worn at the moment. As yellow flag sector 3, it's Gareth Rogers spinning out and losing entirely his front wing, but thankfully there will be no more safety cars. Well, I just saw the results, and I might show the results of this Grand Prix right when the Grand Prix starts. So we're entering the last lap of the race. Gareth Rodgers retires on the last lap of this Grand Prix. There was actually no more point of finishing on that P12. As we got last lap of this Hungarian Grand Prix, and on the great way to win, there is Drake Dempsey. 2.2 of a gap when we go into the turn 1. 2.3 it is at the moment. So as of now, Drake peacefully wins the Hungarian Grand Prix, but he's still got 2 more sectors to go. And will he make that one? Well, he's doing only 10,000 to his fastest lap. He's got no ERS, but it doesn't matter when you are apparently well ahead of your title contender, taking the lead of the championship back. Because he was the leader at one point, I believe. Yep, he was after Baku Azerbaijan Grand Prix, where there was no race for where he wasn't racing. Well, we will make it just in terms of the finish line. As I got told, they are in the real F1, they are paying to the stadium section. Yellow flags in sector 1 and 2, but I don't know the reason, as we are going to cross the line with Drake Dempsey on the great way to take the lead of this World Championship. Drake Dempsey is crossing the line to win the Hungarian Grand Prix, and he is now leader of the standings. Behind him there is Kilometer finishing on position number 2, and Aurélien Le Penroux will fill up the podium standings. There will be no press conference today because you know the reason. Fastest lap belongs to Kilometer, so the gap is 4 points. No, it's 3 points in the standings. Well, as you can see, Kilometer is already rushing to the start of the Mexico Grand Prix. Everyone is now going to cross the line. Well, Jack Jessel. I mean, there was a safety car, virtual safety car. You could have saved your fuel a bit better, and he's now going to lose his points because of that. Can Marco can take the 10th place of the Hungarian Grand Prix? He is not going to, I think. So we are going to cross the line with Marco Botta, and he goes ahead of Jack on the 10th. I'm just going to show the results and well, for the Hungarian Grand Prix start with you. But you will be on the different TVs and will be not speaking with each other most likely, unless on the Formula 1 chat, but Discord server can join. Well, not even showing the podium, sorry. So these are the standings, not even including the DNFs. We've got only 11 finishes. That's it for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Thank you for watching. Next week is Spanish Grand Prix, but we still don't know if we'll make it before or after the Brazilian Grand Prix in real life, or maybe we'll just not make it in Ero F1 because of the chaos that happened today. You can see everyone is rushing to the start. They just made it. And well, thank you for watching. I'm also rushing. Maybe have started already. You could see that standings. So, well, goodbye.